everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to use print and cut with your Cricut Joy. Now, I did make a video back in 2024 about this. However, after some people may have seen the video on how to do it, it was disabled by Cricut. So I took some time, did some testing, and figured out how you can easily do this with your Cricut, again, without using it that way. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, you are going to need some supplies for this. You'll of course need your Cricut Joy. You'll need a Cricut Joy mat. You can do this with the long or the short mat. You'll need a pen or some painter's tape. I prefer the painter's tape method. You'll want to have some scissors or a paper trimmer, and then you're also going to want some sticker paper, cardstock, whatever you want to print on. And then I recommend having some tweezers because that's how I take them off of my Joy mat. I find that bending the Joy mat isn't quite as easy as the larger mats. And then of course we're going to make some fun stickers, which I just dropped a couple, but that's okay. So we're gonna make some fun stickers. I'll link everything that we're using in this video down below so you can easily find all of the supplies to do this yourself. Now, be sure that you're subscribed here, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. And without further ado, let's get started. This is gonna be a couple steps, but they are very easy steps to follow. So the first thing that we need to do is to create a template for us to put our sticker sheet in on the Cricut mat. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. You could draw the template, or we can use some tape. I like to use tape just because then it's got a little edge to push against, but I'll show you how to do this. It's very easy. All you have to do is open your shapes and you just simply open up a square. Completely free. You don't have to pay for anything when doing this. Then all I want to do is I'm going to change the size of my square to what size I want my printable page to be. Now, the Cricut Joy can cut up to 4.25 wide, so that's how wide we're going to make it. And then I'm going to unlock it here so that I can change the height. And I'm going to cut mine or print mine on an 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to make mine 10 inches so I have a lot of space for stickers. Now we've got this nice little square. Now I'll just change the color so that you can see it better. It's very easy to do this. First, I'm going to show you how we do this with a pen, but then I'll also show you how to do it with tape so you can do whichever one you like better. So if you're going to do it with a pen, you're going to select your square, change your operation from basic cut to pen, and it's going to turn into an outline. Then all you have to do is click make. You can save the project or not. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you. But you'll see here that it will draw this little thin square onto your mat. Now, because I'm doing a larger item, I will need the bigger mat from the Cricut Joy, not just the short, like 6-inch one. But you can definitely make this square whatever size you want it to be. But just make sure you remember what size you make it. Now, if you want to do this with tape, all we're simply going to do is change this back to a basic cut. And then again, I'll just change it so it's easier to see it on the mat. But I'm going to go ahead and click make. And what we'll do is we will cover the mat, the outside edges, with tape, and it will cut out the square on the inside of that, and then we'll peel it away. So I'll show you how to do that really quick, and then I'm going to show you how we use Canva to create our stickers. The first thing that we need to do is to insert our pen here into our clamp. So you're going to open your clamp, take out your fine point blade, and you're going to use a Cricut Joy pen, and you'll insert that in until it kind of feels like it's nice and secure, like you can't push it down anymore. These ones don't click. Then you're going to close your clamp, and then you'll notice it's much more secure. Now, I did use this mat previously when I taught you guys how to do the other version, but we'll use it for this version as well to draw on. And you'll see that it's going to draw a much bigger rectangle. And then I'll show you how we do the tape. I'd run 1,000 miles if I could run with... Once it's done, you'll see that you should have a big square. You can go ahead and unload your pen, which I always recommend doing that first. That way it doesn't dry out, you don't forget it, and then we can unload our mat. And now I'm going to turn this sideways so you can see it a little bit better, but do you see your large square or rectangle written on your mat? So that's one way to do this, but I do find that the tape is a little bit easier because you're going to be able to fit your paper into it a little easier. So I'm going to get out some painter's tape, and all we're going to do is we're going to kind of, and actually having the pen kind of helps, we're going to take our painter's tape and we are going to place it onto our mat. Now, I don't want it to go over the edges of the mat, but I want it to make sure that it's covering where the rectangle is. So I just pull some long tape pieces for the sides. You don't want it to go over the top of your mat either. And then I'm going to get 2 shorter pieces for this part, which I cut a little long, so we'll just trim that off. And you want to, like I said, make sure that it goes over where that square has been drawn. And you don't need a lot of tape for this. Now you'll notice obviously our tape square is quite a bit bigger than the square that it drew. So now what we'll do is we're going to cut this so that our tape is going to act as our border. Now we want to install our fine point blade again, and then I put this on the heavy cardstock setting. You probably don't need to go quite that heavy, but it will work. I'm going to load this in. It's going to cut out our tape, and then we'll peel off the tape where we don't need it so we can use that as our guide.
And from what I have heard, you do the same thing too. I want to say
Once it's done, we'll go ahead and unload the mat. And then all you simply have to do, let me scooch this out of the way, is take the inner square of your tape that it cut, and you're going to peel this off. And you're going to have a couple of strips here. You're not going to have a ton, just a couple. And you're going to leave this outer section on your mat here. And you'll see now that we have this handy dandy little border, which is where we can fit our paper into. Now, like I said, I do find this one a little bit easier to line up because you have the edge from your tape to kind of help press the paper against. So now that you have made your template on your Cricut Joy mat, you're going to come into Canva. Now you can do this completely for free, but you're going to need to make an account, and it's free. Once you've done that, you're going to go to Create Design, and you're going to go to where it says Custom Size. Click on that, and you're going to go right here where it says units. You're going to change it from pixels to inches, and we're going to make this 4.25 wide and 10 high. Then just click Create New Design. So once you've opened that, you get your little template, but we need to create an outline for the template because we need to know where to trim the edges. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. I'm going to go under Elements, and I'm going to open up a shape, and under the shape, once it's selected, you'll see you have this position option. If you click on that, you can make this the exact same size as your design, which is exactly what I want to do. And then I'm just going to get it so that it fits within my shape. Then what you can do is use this little outline option right here. It says border style, and you can make a border, and you can make it like a little bit thicker or a little thinner, whatever works for you. I like to go usually about like a 5, but you can make this a little bit thicker, truly up to you, however you want to do it. Once you've got the border, I want you to change the color here. Just make sure that it's white. That way it just kind of doesn't exist. It's just an easier way to do it. The next thing that you'll do is you're going to either upload your images that you want to use, which you can do, or you can grab like some free designs, or if you have Canva Pro, you can get paid designs. But I'll show you how to upload. You're just going to go right here where it says upload. You're going to click upload files, and then you can choose whatever file you want to use. So I'll just kind of go into my Cricut folder, and I'll just find something. Let's go into my print and cut files and just see if there's anything in here. I've got a ton of different like files and stuff that I can use. So I'm just going to choose something here. Let's go with these book lover stickers. So what you'll do is just select whatever designs you want. You can upload multiple. So let's make a whole sheet of these cutesy little book related stickers, but I'll show you how to use a Canva image as well. So I'm just going to pick a couple of these. So I'm just holding Control on my keyboard, or you can use Command on the Mac, and just select the images that you want to use. Just use whatever you want. I just picked a couple, and then click Open. Then it's going to upload it into your images over here on the left-hand side. Now it might take a moment to load them, so just give it a second. But as it's loading, you can go ahead and click on them and put them into your template here. Oops, I put the cats twice. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, so we've got our little images here, and you can just line them up. You don't want them to go over the border, but they can get pretty close to the border. You can resize them by just using this little sizing, and you can see the measurement right there in that little black box. Can you see that black box in the lower right corner? Now, if you want them a specific size, you can go to Position, and let's say I want this to be exactly 1.5 inches wide. I can do that right there in the advanced positioning options. Now you want to make sure that they're not going to overlap. Now these do have an offset already on them, so these are going to be really easy, especially if you're just getting started with using print and cut and you're not super familiar with it. I would recommend using something that already has an offset attached to it, but you can really do whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a few of these on here, and then let me show you how we can use a Canva image as well. So if I go over into Elements, I can, let's search for book, and you can go to Graphics and click See All. Then what you can do if you're not a Canva Pro member is select Filters and go to where it says Price Free, and then get rid of the filters by just clicking here, and you can use any of these images. Now you'll notice that some of them are moving, so another option in your filters is to turn on static for animation, and then that'll let you choose any of the designs they have here that you can use for free. So just pick something that you like or that you want to use that maybe is, you know, something fun for you. So I'm going to go with these flowers because I want to show you how you can add an offset here in your Canva, because it's very simple. What I want you to do is you're going to select the design and you're going to go to Edit, and then under Edit, if you go to FX Effects right here, Shadow, and then you choose the one that says Outline, you'll see that we're going to give an outline. Now I'm going to leave it black for now so that you can see it, but you can like widen it if you want it thicker. And then once you're pretty happy with how it looks, you can take the black and change it to white. And now you have a little offset on your sticker, and then you can resize your sticker however you want. Now what's cool with this one is you can also change the colors of your design by playing with the little buttons up here. So you can brighten them up. You can change them to whatever color you want. So I'm just going to change them to some brighter colors just for fun. But again, you do you, whatever you want to do, however you want this to look. Make them your own, have fun with it. So I'm going to add a couple more stickers from that book designs that I have, and that way I can fill the whole sheet. Now once I've uploaded these, again, I just kind of click on them and I can add them on to my page and resize them however I want. Again, using position if you want a perfect exact size. For me, I'm just going to kind of size them so that they'll cut on to our design here. So I'm just going to size these down a bit just so we can fit them. I've got this big guy. I don't know. He's pretty big. I might be able to turn him sideways. So sometimes if they don't fit the exact same way you want them to, you can turn them sideways and then they may fit a little bit better. Now before we move on to our next step, which we need to change the background color so that our offsets show, we need to download it like this so that we can print it out without any colored background. So what I'm going to do is click Share. And I'm just simply going to download this, and I want to just click download. And this is going to save it as just this white background, and you'll kind of understand how the offsets show up in just a little bit. Now I'm going to tell you a quick little trick here. So because we have these white offsets on our back of our sheet, if you want to make sure that those stay, I want you to change the color on the background of this to anything that you really want it to be. just not black, but like a different color, because we'll be able to remove that color in Design Space so that our offsets will still show. That's really important if you have white offsets on your stickers that you want to keep. Adding offsets in Design Space with this doesn't always work great, but I can show you how to do that, and I'll set up another sticker sheet that doesn't have offsets so that I can show you how you would add offsets to that. But let's do this sheet first, and this will be the one that we cut out. So once I've done that, and you can now see the offsets a little better, I'm actually going to make this one a little bit bigger. I have a little more space for that guy than I thought I did. And I think I'm going to make the rows a little bit bigger just because I do have a little extra space. So I think that looks pretty good. Again, I can really size these a little bit larger just because I have the space for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So once I'm happy with my sizing, you're going to go to Share. Under Share, you're going to click Download, and it's going to download it as a PNG. So go ahead and click Download. And you want to save that design into a folder on your computer. I'm going to call mine Book Stickers and click Save. Now I'm going to show you how to upload this into Design Space, and then we'll come back to Canva so I can show you how to do this if your stickers don't already have an offset built in. So over here on Design Space, we're going to click Upload, and then you're going to choose to upload that image that we just created. So you can drag and drop it or browse for it. I'm going to upload that image called Book Stickers, and you're going to see that it comes up with that brown background and those white offsets. Go ahead and click Continue, and you're going to just click where that brown background is, and it will remove it for you. It doesn't look like your offsets stayed, but I promise you that they did. Then you're going to go ahead and click Apply and Continue. Now from here, we're going to save it as a single layer graphic, which is the center one. You'll see they're all black. You can go ahead and click Continue. Now, because this is a PNG, you have the options to add all of your information in here, right here. If you want to change anything, add any kind of information, maybe like tags or whatever, you can do that. But I'm just going to click Upload. Now, here's what's kind of sucky about Canva and Cricut. They don't communicate great with sizing, so you will need to resize your design, but it's very easy. Just go up to the width and change it to 4.25, and your height will be 10, and then you'll notice that it's going to be the exact same size as this one here, your yellow little outline. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and hide our little yellow outline, but we still need to print our stickers, so let me show you how we do that. Now I do want to show you how I print them because this is the way that comes out best for me, but you do what works best for you, but this is completely free. Inkscape's really easy to print from, and this way I know that everything's going to be sized right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to either drag and drop, or I can use File Import to bring that image into my Inkscape. I can grab the Book Stickers offset and bring it right into my Inkscape. Now I will need to move it into my printable area, which is this little box. But I also want to make sure that this is the correct size because sometimes it isn't. So I'm going to go under File, and I'm going to go to Document Properties. And I want to make sure that US letter is selected, which, like I said, for mine defaults to A4 no matter what I do. I don't know how to fix it, but whatever. So from that, you're just going to kind of get this on to the page. I like to go pretty centered on it, but you can put it to the side if you'd like. If you want to put it more over here, maybe you want to print 2 of these, and you can do that because you can fit 2 if you've made them smaller. I can't fit 2, but you can kind of get my drift. You can add something else over here if you don't want to waste material, whatever you want to do. So once I've got it where I want it, which for me, like I said, is the center, you'll see that you have your black outline. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to click Print. And then from here, I want to make sure I have my correct printer selected, which is my ET2720. It's an inkjet printer. Then I'm going to go to Preferences, and I just do a couple things over here to make sure that I get a really good quality print. First, I always check my paper size just to make sure that it's right. And then I check my orientation because, again, make sure it's correct. Then I change my paper type to Premium Presentation Paper Matte. And then I go from the standard to high quality. And then I change one more setting under More Options, which is to turn off high speed print. Now, if for some reason you don't have all of these settings for your printer, it's likely because your drivers were not installed correctly. So just head to your printer manufacturer's website to install the drivers for your printer, and you'll get these settings. Then just click OK and click Print. So once you have this loaded in, ready to go, you've hidden your little square. All you simply have to do is click Make. This is already set to a basic cut, which is what you need it to be. You're going to line this up. Now, I know it's a little hard to see, so let me change the color because I know a lot of you guys say it's hard to see when I keep it black. So let me change it to like light blue. It doesn't matter what color this is because the Cricut doesn't know other than that it's cutting these shapes. So on your mat, you'll see here that you have your little outline and then you have your shapes. It's going to cut both the outline and the shapes, and that's okay. That's what we want it to do. We're going to line this up on our mat with either the pen line that you have drawn or inside of your taped off rectangle. So let's head over to the machine and I'm going to show you our next steps. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this one and I'll delete all of the stickers off of it just so I don't have to remake the outline again. But what we're going to do here is we are going to use some items that don't have an offset. So you can use any image you want. You can do the upload where you upload your own images. But for this, I'm just going to make some stickers off of what they have here on Canva just to show you how to do this. But this is just so you can see how you could do and add an offset to your designs if your stickers don't already have them. So I'm just going to grab a couple of like random images of these cats. It doesn't matter what I'm grabbing. I'm just grabbing some stuff. And these are all items that don't have an offset to them. And it's going to be really easy to show you how you add the offset because it is pretty simple once you have your designs in your design space. So give me just a second. I'll add a few more pictures to this and then I'll show you our next step. One thing that you need to kind of think about when you're laying out your stickers is they can't be super close together because you do need to leave some space for those offsets. So like right here, the space cat and this little fat cat are a little close, and we're also a little bit close to the edge at the bottom. So that's one thing you really want to think about when you're laying these out. You need a little extra space around your stickers for the offset. So once I have all of these where I want them and I'm good to go, I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to click share and I'm going to download the design. Now I don't need to change the background on this because these don't have an offset that I want to save. I'm going to make sure that I download just page 2 here and I'm going to click download. I'll go ahead and save these and I'm going to call these cats no offset. That way I know what they are and I'm going to click save. Then we'll head over to Cricut Design Space. So over here in Cricut Design Space, we are going to upload that image by clicking upload, and you're going to upload your image and click browse. Now we want to use the cat no offset design, and you'll see here we've got all of our stickers, and I'm going to click continue. Now again, we need to remove the background, so I'm going to click that. Now I did just realize this cat's going to have a little funky problem, but that's okay. It'll be fine once I add the offset. It took part of his little white out of his chest, but that's no big deal. So you'll make sure that that background is removed and click apply and continue. Now we are going to save it here as the single layer graphic and click continue. Then once you see all your designs here, go ahead and just click upload. You don't have to do anything super fancy. Now again, remember we do need to size this back down to that 4.25 size where it's going to be 10 inches high. And we have to do a couple of steps for this so that we can add the offsets. It's very, very easy, but it is going to take you just a couple of steps. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to click contour and I want to hide the outline. So I'm going to get rid of the outline and then I'm going to hide this other box. And that's just going to leave us with the stickers for just a second. Then I'm going to add our offset by clicking offset. Now 0.25 is going to be way, way, way too big. And I don't like that one anyways. So let's try it like 0.02. And you just sort of play with this until you get, that's way too small, until you get like an offset that is what you want it to be. That one looks like it should be okay. It might be a little too big, but we'll find out. I'm going to click apply. Then what I want to do is I'm going to bring back in the outline of the cat's no offset. So go to contour and you're going to just bring this back in. And all you're going to do now is I want you to select these two items. You're going to select the cat no offset and the offset. You're going to go down to combine and you're going to unite them. And that there is simply how you add the offsets. Now, I said I wasn't going to cut them, but I think I will, just so you can see how these work. Now, I will say these two are a little bit close. They might cut together. If they do, I can just trim them apart. But I think they'll be separate. It's just really hard to tell. So I'll print both of them out. That way you can see what everything looks like. I made one yellow so it was easier for you to see on the screen. Once you've got them printed out and you're ready to cut them, all you're gonna do is click Make, and it's going to bring up 2 different mats for these because they're the 2 different colors. Now it's gonna ask me how I wanna use these, and I do wanna cut these on matte, and I wanna make sure that the 4.5 by 12 is selected, because remember that's the one we used to make our little template on, and click Confirm. Now you'll see here we have our little design, and you can see this outline here is that black line that's going to be around your design, and you have that on both of your sticker sheets. So what it's going to do is it's going to cut around the stickers, but it'll also cut around that outline, but don't worry, it's totally fine, no big deal. It actually kind of works better because it cuts all the black off for you. Let's head over to my desk, and I'm going to show you how you cut these from the paper that you printed. Once we've done our tape trick and all of that, what we need to then do is take our stickers that we printed out, which I'm trying to grab here. They're all kind of together. So I've got my 2 different sheets. That way we can show you the 2 different methods. But what you'll want to do, and I really love, this is the paper cutter that I recommend. It has an extra little measuring tool on the side. But what I really love about this, and I know it's going to be hard for you guys to see, is there's a little wire in the middle of our cutting surface right here. And that's going to help us cut these lines a little bit neater. Now you don't want to cut any of the black off. So I take this and I line it up, and you're probably going to see the top of my head, but I line it up, and I want to make sure that I'm right over this so I can see where it's going to cut, and I line it right up with that black edge, and then you want to press down and slice, and then you'll see here we've got this nice clean edge. And we've got a nice clean edge here. I could have cut this a little closer, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to cut just a twinge bit closer to that edge. I think that's a little too close. And the key is to try to get as close to that edge as you can without cutting off a ton of the black. A little itty bitty bit of the black will be fine, but you don't want to cut off like all the black, so you just need to be extra super careful about that. Now if you need to trim this with scissors because maybe you're not good at the paper cutter, that's okay too. I may trim this down a little bit with my scissors just because I want to make sure that I get this really close. Now I'm going to be honest with you, as long as you've got 2 edges good, then you're good. As long as 2 edges are going to cut really nice and close to the black, then you're good to go. That little piece out. So if you mess up the top and the bottom, this side, you can correct it with this side if that works for you. Oops, and then my sticker paper got stuck a little bit. Sometimes that happens. Just do that a little more careful. But you just need to try and make sure that you get this cut really, really, really close to that black. So I'm just gonna get this really nice and even, and then cut that. Now this one's a little bit too close, so it's okay, no biggie. Just takes a little bit of practice, but it'll cut just fine. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and line this one up. And you wanna make sure, again, to get it really nice and straight. And then we'll get our little extra piece out from under here. Not always the easiest. I'll leave it for now, I'll tip it up later. But there you go, now you can cut it. Now, like I said, I'm gonna trim these just a little bit because I didn't cut them perfectly. I'm not amazing at cutting a straight line. It's just not for me. But if you just don't get them quite straight, or you don't have a paper trimmer, you can come in and use your scissors. So I'm just going to kind of trim this with my scissors a little bit, just to get it a little closer to the black. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to get this side, and then I'll show you how we do this on the Joy. We're ready to load our sticker paper. So remember, we want this corner to match up to the corner of our tape. That's one reason that I really like the tape. I can use that tape to help me kind of get my edge correct and pressed down, and so that it's nice and even and straight. Now I can tell you right down here, not so straight. So I'm gonna go ahead, pop that back off, and we'll try again. You can do this as many times as you need to make sure that it's on here nice and even and straight. All right, we're gonna make sure, really the biggest thing is getting this top section here right in there, nice and neat. Okay, that is good. All right, now we got it. It may take you a try or two to get this in. Now I've got this set to the medium cardstock setting, and I'm gonna go ahead and load this in. We're gonna watch it cut. I'll move it down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. It's gonna go ahead and cut. Now this doesn't have any registration lines to read, so it's gonna instantly go into cut mode.
Guess mystery loves company. Better to late than never. You know we could do better. So take a chance and run with me. Everywhere we go, we turn to paradise. All I know is that I need you in my life. Let me show you how it feels.
Now, you may have seen this cut around a couple of times, and then I pulled this out because it started to lift. That's normal because you have to have your border on or your stickers won't cut. So you will have a little bit of a issue with that, but that's totally normal, so don't fret if it's doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and unload this. And then we can take these off of the mat. And we'll go ahead, and I had this so that it cut all the way through them, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. All right, we got a few that aren't quite lined up perfectly, but this is one of those things that you're not gonna be able to do perfect the first time. You're gonna need to do some practice, but I do think most of them came out pretty good. This one got a little chip in it, but that's okay. That was just because something got stuck to the blade. But honestly, I don't think they look too bad. So like I said, some of them are a little bit off. But again, it just takes practice. But these ones look really, really good. I think most of them look pretty darn perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, unload these from my mat, and then we're gonna cut out the little cat ones and see how those ones do in comparison. But remember that when you take things off your mat, you wanna kind of roll your mat. You wanna be gentle, and you don't wanna bend it fully backwards. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get these off, and then I'll show you the cat ones next.
Want it, just say the word. Everywhere we go, we turn to paradise. All I know is that I need you in my life. Let me show you how it feels to roll the dice. You know you want it, just say the word. Oh, whatever we would do it just for fun. You only get so many.
I think these stickers came out really, really good. I'm actually super impressed. So obviously the book ones are the ones that had the offset already on them. There's a couple that are just a little bit off, not perfect, but I think for the most part, they did come out pretty good. Now, like I said, it does just take a little bit of practice for lining these up to get an excellent, perfect sticker. So you may need to just kind of play with it, try it out, get used to it, and figure out how you need to line it up for everything to cut out really nicely. But I do think it did a really good job, all things considered. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Also, I'd love to know why you chose a Joy over some of the other machines. I'm always kind of curious as to what people use their Joy for versus what I would use it for. So please let me know down below. I would love to find out. I hope that you guys picked up some tips and tricks to using Print and Cut with your Joy. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.